Well, hey there. Welcome to A Tale of Three Cabins. Today I got a little project for my neighbor. I'm going to give him a hand this morning. He's going to extend his deck out. So I got my tooth bar on and we're going to dig out some of the dirt underneath where his extension is going to go. He needs to take out about 14 inches from the steps, and then it's going to taper down to almost nothing, about 9-10 feet out. So if you remember back in the summer, a couple of videos ago, I did the same thing for my friend Jack here, but he was building a shed and needed the foundation for it dug out about 8 inches or so. So I'm just going to cut to the chase, and to save time for me, my neighbor, you can kind of go back and watch this video because it's very similar to what I had to do. And back in my neighbor's here, I'm just kind of finishing up some of the last bit of dirt before we start digging some post holes. So before I came out, I did ask my neighbor, is there anything we should know about underneath here? And he didn't think so, but he's got a little power line that used to be for his old pool. And then he used that power line now for a little waterfall behind the tractor here that they just had put in this summer. So he's going to have to resplice that. So this is about the area he needs dug out. And I'm going to go back across the street, get rid of the backhoe, and put the post hole digger on, and come back and start doing some post holes. So he wants the first two sets of posts pretty close to the end of his steps here, and I got as close as I could. From my view, it looked kind of precarious, just a little vibration or a little shake back and forth, and I thought I was gonna mar his steps up there pretty good. So I was a little nervous the whole time we were doing this one. I kind of kept the auger slow, and I crossed my fingers. Now this soil here is pretty much a lot of clay and a lot of rocks, a lot of shale in there. Not like big boulders or anything, but quite a few rocks you can see coming up. Now if you get the RPMs up, you can really spit that dirt out and it won't be falling back in the hole. But again, I was just a little worried about being so close here. I really didn't want to rev this thing up. You can also hear when the auger is starting to bog down a little bit and kind of getting sucked down. And when you hear like a change in pitch of the RPMs, that's usually when I pull it back up. This one starts out okay, but it's a little bit too close when the auger starts to straighten out. So these first two, according to the video, took just a little bit under 3 minutes each. So being that close and being kind of careful, the next couple ones go a little bit quicker, seeing that there's really no obstacles to worry about. There's two bolts that hold in the auger, and one of them just kind of flew out. So I don't know if it just wasn't tight enough or exactly what happened, but we found a bolt but could not find the nut and washer. So we ended up having to run to the store real quick and grabbing another one. I did finish this hole up with just the one bolt in there, and it worked fine. So I have to say, for every time I've used this, and using my neighbor's, he had the older model. I did a video on that compared to the newer model if you want to check that out. But I have to say, every time I use this is a 9-inch auger, and I've never really had any problems. I don't know if it would really bog down or have some power issues with a larger auger or not. Me, myself, I can't personally see going past the 9 inches. I don't think I would ever be putting a post in bigger than a 6x6. So I'm pretty happy with the way this works. I can usually get a post hole done in about 1 to 2 minutes depending, and like I said, if it's like close to that steps, it takes about 3 minutes. So I've never really had any issues. I've never had the thing really bogged down. I get very paranoid about that too, because I've seen other people complain about that, and it gets stuck into the ground. They have to use a big pipe wrench to get it out, and I just try to pull it up before I get to that point. Now, I don't know about you, but maybe it's the camera angle, and from my point of view on the tractor it looks straight, and probably from the point of view of my neighbor standing there it looks straight, but for some reason it looks a little off to me. But when we put the post in, it looked pretty much level. So, but the camera kind of makes this one look crooked. And this is our last hole, and it seems a little crooked here also, but again, when we placed the post in the ground, it looked pretty straight. So I don't know if it's an optical illusion or what. I know I had that little black bar that the new one has now, that you can help level it as you're sitting in the chair. If you see my hand reached out there, I'm trying to pull the auger in towards me. Okay, so my neighbor's going to put a little bit of concrete in each hole and let that kind of cure overnight. Next morning I'm going to come there and help him set the post in there and put some more concrete in there. And hopefully he's well on the way of getting his deck and hot tub in.
So I really like the way this thing's working for me. With the new feet on there, it was pretty easy to get this thing on and off of the tractor when I used my neighbor's, and it didn't have the legs that this one comes with. It was very difficult. It was kind of heavy, and you could end up hurting your back. So this was, next time if I'm hooking it up, I'll do a video and show you how that works. But basically with those 2 feet there, all you're doing is lifting this part up, all the heavy weights in the back with the auger, and it's a lot better than my neighbor's. So I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Hope you like them and subscribe, and keep an eye on us.